Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. Let us now have a minute of silence.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
Please silence your cell phones. Sorry about that. Last year, I tagged along with my husband Joe, the rock star, to a conference of law professors. At one point over dinner, someone asked the question, what law do you think has had the greatest impact on you as a person? Not on your community, not on the United States or the world or the environment, but on you personally. What law? Well, maybe the right to vote for women. I'd vote. But I mean, every day, it's a good one. It's a good one. I'm not dissing it. But for me, when I thought about it really on a personal level, I thought spouse abuse. No, I'm just kidding. I thought Title IX. Title IX is the law that really, really paved the way for women to participate in sports on a significant level. It mandated basically like that schools spend as much on girls' sports as boys' sports, or any entity that kind of got public money could do that. So, and growing up, my dad and mom, like after Title IX passed in our town, the Little League that was only boys for years and years and years. In 1971, now they had have a league for girls, and we had a softball league, and I started when I was like 6, and I just loved it. I loved it. And like I said, it was a huge part of my identity. Milford High School, class of 1983, Class A, honorable mention, all-state catcher. Yeah. So if you could explain my knees. And Will, yeah, you get that because you play ball too, man. And actually, my very first job, as a young adult, I was 18, and I was umpiring men's and women's softball leagues in Detroit and Metro Detroit, and it really gave me a sense of confidence. Like if Phil started to get lippy, I wouldn't hesitate to just throw him out of here, Phil. And so, I don't know, it was a really interesting discussion for me, what people came up with, and I'm sure maybe you can consider it yourselves and think about it and share it with each other, when you see each other next week over coffee or in the store or at Kroger. Remind yourselves to sign up for the Kroger sharing funds too, since we mentioned Kroger. Anyway, so I thought originally I was going to do a whole talk on Title IX because it really got me thinking about how many women it had affected and how far women have come, and you see the WNBA and all of this. But then I met Steve. He had come to our church previously and checked it out a while back, and he was now kind of revisiting us, and he seemed pretty serious about becoming a member and pledging this time around. He'd already been giving us some donations as he visited again. And I guess since I'm the current president, and he hadn't really met me yet, he approached me with some questions, thought that I might be able to answer. And some of the questions he had were like, what types of activities does our church do to advocate in the community for change? And so I was like, let's go get some coffee and talk about this. I was hoping he'd pick up the tab, but he didn't. We ended up having a lot of really good discussions and meeting a few times. And we talked about how our Unitarian Universalists shared values a lot and how they fit in with current social policy and laws, both at the federal level and here locally. And at this point, I just want to kind of briefly remind you what those values are, because I think they're important. They're our identity. Those are interdependence, where we honor the interdependent web of all existence and acknowledge our place in it. Pluralism, that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. Justice, we work to be diverse, a diverse, multicultural, and beloved community where all feel welcome and all can thrive. Transformation, we want to try and adapt to a changing world. I don't want to still be living in the world of the 1920s that my dad was born into. And I'm sure I'm trying to adapt to the world of my 23-year-old son. Sometimes better than not. Generosity. We want to cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. Gratitude and hope. And equity. Our Unitarian Universalist values declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, with love, and with compassion. So what does it mean, for example, to have the stated values of justice and equality, in the face of this Trump administration and their current ICE raids. We talked a little bit about what's been going down in Minnesota and how some of the Unitarian ministers led the charge and others. We talked about what role we thought religious institutions and faith-based organizations can or should play in trying to shape public policy. We thought a little bit about, or at least he made me think, he probably already had all these answers and was just, teaching me. But what religious involvement in social policies has looked like historically, sometimes for better, sometimes in alignment with our stated values, and sometimes maybe against it. So what does that mean? Should churches even be involved in this stuff? And the great thing, Steve, is as we talked, I could tell that we had a lot in common. I did ask him if he wanted to be my new BFF. Still no answer on that, by the way. Anyway, like many of you and our Unitarian Universalist brothers and sisters across the country, it seemed like he and I both viewed social justice and equality as a core part of our faith. I'm going to speak for him, I shouldn't, but I felt like both of us, this is my take on it, he never really said this, but we gained much of our own spiritual fulfillment by working to promote those social policies and laws that facilitated UU shared values and brought them to bear in meaningful ways. I know for me, at least, that is very true. And for most of my life, I was born into the Unitarian Universalist faith. I didn't have a choice. But I've equated Unitarian Universalism with social advocacy and activism. And water. One of my very earliest memories, and this is true, I don't know if there's any Freudians out there. If there are, keep it to yourselves. But one of my very earliest memories was from when I was age 3. And I remember I was lifted from a stroller and placed up on my dad's shoulders. And it was during an anti-Vietnam War protest down Woodward Avenue in Detroit. And we were surrounded by members of our Northwest Unitarian Universalist Church congregation that was just outside Detroit in Southfield. And we were participating together in that march as a church. We were all wearing, I was probably in a diaper. Well, no, I was 3, so probably not, but, So I talked to my dad a little bit about this. He's 95, and what he said for him was that it made it more meaningful for him, even more meaningful, that he was participating in an anti-Vietnam march to bring our troops home with his fellow church members by his side. And he appreciated that camaraderie, that congregation. And he also appreciated especially, he said, the leadership of the church's minister at the time, Frank Gentile. Okay, yeah, a lot of my Jewish friends do ask if his name was really Gentile, and yes, it was. But I think as Steve and I were talking, we started thinking about if our congregation might find that kind of spiritual fulfillment if we endeavored and mindfully set out to engage in advocating together on one particular issue to start with. There can be more down the road, but we would kind of choose an issue or whatever that we could jointly go out and advocate. And you'll see we did put a survey out front where we could start to pull that together and maybe get a subcommittee of folks together to kind of think about what that issue might be. Maybe it's something, in this part of the city where we would go to the city council and talk with them and come up with a plan. It's all in the very early stages. And Steve, I asked him to do this joint sermon with me. I don't think he knew what he was getting into because I told him actually, like, after he'd already agreed and stuff, I'm like, oh, and don't worry, I work blue. And he was like, in a church? But anyway, he agreed to do it, and I'm really excited because he has a lot of experience at this, and just this sort of program. He's done this both as an educator and as an activist himself. Steve became interested in community activism after attending the Midwest Academy in Chicago, where he studied community organizing. He later taught a graduate course on the subject in the University of Toledo's Masters of Public Health program, where he gave students the opportunity to work on community projects that he oversaw. Steve has also been an advocate and advocated for climate action in the Toledo area, and he played like a major role in the campaign to pass legislation that banned smoking in Toledo bars, restaurants, and bowling alleys, which I think that's probably saved a lot of people's lives. And so I just wanted to kind of introduce Steve, because he's you know him, you've seen him around, maybe you took a class with him, but he's awesome, and I do hope he'll get back to me on the BFF thing, and that's friends forever for anyone. Anyway, but I would like him to come up now if he would still be willing and sort of talk about what he sees, how we can do this together as a congregation and get that spiritual fulfillment that my dad so profoundly felt. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Krista. Jeff? You there? Jeff?
Jeff! You want to get it now? See the slide here?
Okay, here we go. No. Can you go back to the front? There we go. Okay. So Krista and I got together and thought that we could add some tools to our toolbox. Obviously, this church does a lot in the community. We're everywhere, it seems. We're doing food, we're doing bags for homeless people, we're marching in parades, a lot of things. And we thought we might come up with another strategy or a few more strategies. So, Jeff, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. I have a couple of videos to start us off with. The first one is Justice in Action from the Unitarian Church of Orlando. And the second one is UU Hill Day 2025 from the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So could you run those for me, Jeff?
Hello, I am Reverend Margarita Lazaire of the First Unitarian Church of Orlando. It has been said that if you are concerned about the current state of our country, you should consider joining a Unitarian church. Why, you might ask? That's because activism is a core part of our faith. Historically, Unitarians were active in movements for abolition, women's suffrage, and prison reform. That tradition continues today as we are actively involved in contemporary issues like race, immigration, climate and environment, LGBTQ+, economic justice, voting rights, and democracy. The abolitionist Theodore Parker gave us the quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." To learn more how the First Unitarian Church of Orlando is honoring that quote, visit orlandouu.org and find the Justice Action tab, and feel welcome to join us in our efforts.
I believe in the power of the people and collective organizing to make positive change and to make the world a better place.
Yoga is a collaboration between UUSC, UUSJ, UUMFE, and our goal is really to leverage the power of Unitarian Universalists across the country, to leverage their voice, to bring them to Congress, to defend their democracy, and to uphold human rights.
We've been meeting with senators across both parties and across the country to talk about our faith values and the implications of our values in as the Senate considers the budget bill.
Elected officials need to hear and meet their constituents, need to hear personal stories. Sometimes legislation can become so complex and intellectual, you kind of don't think about the impacts that legislation has. So seeing people in the flesh, I think, can help bridge that gap.
This is such an important tenet for us as Unitarian Universalists, to bring our voices to the table, to bring the voices of our grassroots partners to the conversation, and to hold our elected officials accountable to the values that make our nation great.
So there are many churches across the country that are, in fact, confronting people with power, speaking truth to power, to bring about change through legislation, and that's what we're proposing. Next, Jeff? Okay. Now, we get ideas. We have good sources of information in the Unitarian Church of which directions to go. The first one is based here in Ohio. There are 34 other Unitarian churches in Ohio, and this group makes suggestions and offers tips on actions to take. The next one, please. The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is in a similar way, and here they're making a suggestion about the SNAP program. Next, please. And here we have Side with Love. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It is the organizing strategy team of the Unitarians. And they bring up the idea of temporary protective status for Haitians and how we should be supporting them. Next one. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a case study of Haitians and temporary protective status. As Christo, well, let me do this. Haiti has obviously had a hard time. It's a hard place to live, and their history is very long, where the citizens are very, very challenged. So in 2010, they had a 7-magnitude earthquake that killed 200,000 people. Since then, they have faced many, many problems: violence, human rights abuses, earthquakes, COVID-19, shortages of everything. Haiti today, it's still bad. We have gangs controlling 85 to 90% of Port-au-Prince. 1.4 million people are internally displaced. A UN official described it recently as a humanitarian crisis. So one of the answers for the Haitians that are living here, because they've managed to get here so they can survive and escape Haiti, is temporary protective status. Temporary protective status allows them to be here without being citizens and work and live. Temporary protective status recently ended this year, and the conservatives, the right, wants to end that, and they are making moves to do that. Senate Bill 4814 extends protective status for another 3 years to 2029. The House has approved it. The Senate is fighting it. including our 2 senators. Next, please. It's also the case that the Supreme Court has told Mr. Trump that he can end TPS and deport people. Next, please. So, one of the things that doesn't get discussed much with regards to this problem is the state of Springfield. Springfield obviously has a lot of Haitians. They've become an integral part of the community. They brought in millions of dollars. They also are inhabiting homes that otherwise would be in great disrepair. So this new attempt to deport people would have a devastating impact on Springfield. And even though that is the case, our two senators are voting to not extend Senate Bill 4814, even though it would devastate Haitians and Springfield. Next, please. So, the action that I have in mind for this little case study is approaching Senator Husted and getting him to support TPS. He hasn't really strongly come down against it, but he hasn't supported it, whereas Senator Marino is strongly for deporting Haitians. So then our approach to do something about this situation is to try to get Senator Husted to come out in support of this bill. So how would we do that? First, I'd like to clear up some people's concern about the IRS and our status as a nonprofit. Next, please. This is what we can't do. We can't endorse or oppose a candidate, and we can't intervene in campaigns. Otherwise, we can do just about anything else. As long as our activities do not spend more than 5% of our money or take up more than 5% of our time. And people tell me that's virtually impossible. This is what we can do. We can engage in issue advocacy, we can conduct voter education, we can get out the vote drives, we can combat voter suppression. Next, please. We can support or oppose ballot initiatives. There's several others there, but the one I want to focus on is lobby elected officials. There is nothing wrong with Unitarians going in a group and lobbying a politician to support or oppose a bill. The IRS would not care. Next, please. So these are the strategies or tactics we could use to approach Senator Husted. An in-person meeting, protests, letter writing, phone banks, coalitions, etc. So to start it out, I wrote a letter to Senator Husted. I emailed him requesting he vote to extend TPS. He wrote back, Haiti no longer meets the statutory conditions for TPS designation. That is absolutely not true. It absolutely does meet the standards. There's many agencies that are saying it might be worse in Haiti now than when TPS first started. So for some reason, I don't know, the people on the right are wanting the Haitians to be deported. So we tried letter writing. That didn't work the first time. Second, we could have a meeting. Now, with this strategy of meeting with politicians, there would be a group of 5 of us, if we choose to go this way. There would be a group of 5 of us approaching Senator Husted. We have to get an appointment. And back to the slide, please. No, back. There we go. In order to do this activity, first we have to know the situation and we have to know the legislation intimately. We have to know the ask and ask it. It's amazing how many times people go to talk to a politician and don't have the nerve to ask for what they want. Now, the reason why this is a good entry point for people who aren't used to this activity is there's the team composition. And some of the activities as a team member are very easy. For instance, You always go in and show some appreciation for what the senator has done previously. Or maybe you're the time monitor. So we approach him as a group of 5, and we have a meeting, and we make the ask that he supports the bill. Obviously, we need to know, as I said, we need to know the senator well. We need to know about him. We need to know about the legislation. And we probably have to practice ahead of time. So that's another way to go. Next slide, please. Oh, back. Back. Oh, that's right. You dumped it because of the picture. That's right. All right, my fault. Another thing to do that we could easily do, Senator Houston has an office in town. We could easily have a demonstration out in front of his office. There could be maybe 20 of us standing there with placards. We send out a press release, we get media coverage, and we have a spokesperson outline what the issue is. You always have to have one person as a spokesperson for the media. So one person would describe to the media what the issue is and what we're looking for Senator Houston to do. Definitely gets that in the news, because 20 people will probably draw the media and get it on television and in the paper. So those are some examples of what we could be doing. If you're all interested, I'm not sure you are, but if you are, I think we can make that next step into being more direct with the people in charge, truth to power, to try to make life better for people. So that's what I have for you today.
Now is the time for our offering. We ask you to please give generously as you are able. Your donations are important to the vital work that our church does. Folks are passing the baskets here in the sanctuary, or you may pay online using the QR code. Folks watching on YouTube, you may also pay online or mail a check to the church. Let's see, Jeffrey's going to lead congregational singing number 402 from You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
It's coming soon time. Community dining takes place at Lena's Italian at 5 p.m. on Thursday, August 20th. I don't see a contact person, so we'll try to post information on the church Facebook page, or if you haven't heard anything by Wednesday, call the church office. And Maumee Valley Unitarian Universalist congregation is having a blood drive next Saturday, August 22nd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. In case you don't know it, it's 2189 North Dixie Highway. It's just north of Bowling Green. And our first Unitarian walking group will meet next Sunday, August 23rd, after church at 2 p.m. at the Kitty Todd Preserve. Meet at the Oak Savannah Trail. Is it?
So many of you guys picked up the survey that was out there from Joe Moran. I hope you'll fill that out. You can hand it to me or Steve after the service. If you want to take it home and think about it and bring it back next week or during the week, you can leave it in the office. You can call me. I'll come and pick it up at your home. Whatever. Let's get this done. Let's do it. Let's start. And then we're going to have like a subcommittee. So if you're interested in that, Susan Smith. Yeah. Or anyone else. But I know she had expressed interest. I didn't just pick on her. We want to do that. David, you can come on up. We're going to hear from David a little bit about the Pride Parade. But before we do that, I have a few more announcements. Monday, September 7th at noon, there will be a Labor Day picnic here at the church. So that's noon here at the church, Labor Day. Also on that day, you can start to bring your rummage sale items. So clean out your house and your garage. Your family will love you for that. I swear, I don't know what happened to your book. That's going to take place September 11th and 12th, but get your stuff in here now and breathe easier at home. And speaking of Labor Day, me and Keith Racy are going to be part of the Monroe Labor Day Parade and Festival. It's going to be on Saturday, September 11th. The parade kicks off at 1 o'clock. I will be, you might not recognize me because I will be Mother Jones and Keith will be Eugene Debs. So if you can come out to that, it should be fun time. And let's see, I'm going to let David step in, and then we'll have Steve come up. But don't forget those surveys, and don't forget to volunteer for the thing so we can work in coalitions with really cool groups like Toledo Persists, Melissa. You can come up and say something after him. Yeah. And then we'll have Steve, and then we'll finish up because we started a little late, so it's not like we are not the problem. Y'all weren't in here. No, I'm just kidding.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Tkaczyk. I want to take a moment to thank each and every person who helped make our Pride Parade float such a success. What started as an idea became a reality because so many people gave their time, creativity, generosity, and encouragement. A special thank you to Krista and Reverend Tim for their leadership, guidance, and support throughout the project. To Thatcher for providing the trailer and safely driving the float. To Oliver for bringing our vision of life to life through the artwork and promotional materials. To Jennifer and Ed for leading the safety squad and helping keep everyone safe. And to Ginny for organizing the candy and stickers that brought smiles along the parade route. And thank you to every volunteer, donor, and supporter. Whether you built decorations, handed out flyers, contributed supplies, walked alongside the float, or simply cheered us on, you helped create something that reflected our congregation's values of welcome, inclusion, and community. The Pride Float was a success because we did it together. Let's celebrate what we accomplished, give everyone involved a well-deserved round of applause, and carry that same spirit of community and welcome forward. Thank you all.
I'll be quick because you're going to get tired of hearing me because our time for all of our fundraisers is now, and I'm co-chair of the bazaar and I'm in charge of the rummage sale. So she talked about the rummage sale, but we're also starting to get the bazaar going, and we have ideas of making crafty items for the church table. So Melanie and Julie and Sandra, I don't see, we're going to be in the Chapek room at 12:15. We've got some ideas of things we can make. So anybody who's crafty or wants to learn to be crafty or just wants to help and come out, please see us at 12:15. Thank you.
So I know you probably heard a couple beeps up here, and it was someone texting me about an announcement. And there's a flyer on the table out there about Together Women Rise, a meal, and that's Monday, I think tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? Could be tomorrow. So check it out, especially if you're a woman. It's a really great thing. And then the same person said that they have fruit and vegetables in the garden, and they told me that you're supposed to go to a certain spot. And that is really cool. And it is the left side of the center path. And it has the bean poles. And take as many tomatoes and cherry tomatoes as you want, because there are plastic shopping bags in the kitchen. And you can also, again, grab the Rise flyers, she says. But go get some tomatoes. You can throw them at people who are not doing a great job speaking to you. Wait, no, don't do that. All right, Steve?
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that. So next Sunday, the 9:45 religious education program will feature Phil Park Thomas on Butting Heads, Episode 2, Conflict Management, Learning Our Personal Conflict Management Styles. And then at 11 o'clock, our summer lay-led service continues with Devin Fitzpatrick presenting a sermon on spirituality and mental health. Our final coming soon announcement is to invite you to join us for conversation, coffee, and maybe even a cookie in Fellowship Hall after the service. Just go out the doors at the back and walk straight down the hall. Let us now recite the Golden Rule together.
The whole law is summed up in a single commandment. You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. Today's church service has ended, but hopefully not our service in the world. Let us go out and by living our values centered in love, do what we can to make a difference and build beloved community. Go make some good trouble. Thank you all for being here today.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness is all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come on, build a land where our sisters and brothers, anointed by God, live and create peace. Where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. God, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, make and create peace. Where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a Boy, it's a good thing we had the earlier series.